agriculture, and fire. This is when times start really getting exciting. Some suggest that this shift in lifestyle is access to high-calorie, high-protein marrow in megafauna through the invention to crack the bones. The inventions of agriculture and creation of fire then fed more creativity into our brains, by unlocking more nutrition and calories in food, thus helping our brains grow and us worrying slightly less on what we will eat or what will eat us. This makes us a bit more laid back, for our minds to wander, and for allowing for more creative time and time to think about new things. This brings us now to the present day. We are living in the zenith of science and technology, the most prosperous time in human history. Only a few months before this speech, I witnessed the first civilian space launch live more than halfway across the world. I have classes in a beautiful new building. People are inventing new things. Computers are getting more and more powerful every year, and software is getting more versatile. Not to mention all the art pieces and all the amazing books that come out all the time. All of this is built on a wealth of innumerable creative ideas, built upon countless generations of creativity. Remember this, creativity breeds innovation. From an ephemeral spark in someone's mind, we can now experience the collective creative innovations brought upon by creativity. Think about all the inventions and beauty brought upon by creativity. The automobiles, skyscrapers, computers, and cities, this pioneered by creative designers. Or the latest games pushing the limits of immersive graphics, powered by semiconductor transistors atoms wide. Creativity is what that has allowed us to land spacecraft on different worlds to touch the heavens. Once you see creative innovation, there is no stopping to see what wonders the world's creativity has in store. This is a time in human history, for example, where you can work from anywhere in the world, have a video meeting across multiple different continents, and unlimited access to a depository of information accessible for no cost. Or buy yourself a ticket through space, and for lively teenagers like me, a wealth of pricelessly hilarious memes, which are all, by the way, created by creative memers, distracting us all from our math studies. So you might be asking, what is the use of creativity in our world, aside from some cool stuff, nice art, funny stuff, tech and science? Well, as we approach a new era in which skills are constantly being developed, creativity is one of those skills that you will need. In the 21st century, rapid changes to our world and our lives are in motion. Sociologists claim that we are in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution, of the development of the internet, artificial intelligence, and digital currency. Klaus Schwab, author of the book Fourth Industrial Revolution, states, "The changes are so profound that there has never been a time, that from this perspective of human history, there has never been a time of greater promise or peril." This means that we will see profound changes in the lives and workplaces in the coming decades. Jobs uncommon not long ago are now becoming more mainstream. More computer programmers, for example, will be needed to find clever, creative ways to develop new software. Entrepreneurs will be needed to use creativity to develop their businesses. New media platforms like YouTube, for example, are producing inspiring and creative content. Not to mention new technologies like digital currency, the internet, and sustainable industry, just waiting for our creative ideas. This perfectly illustrates the dynamic 21st century world we now live in, and will continue to see when the years go by. To ensure that we keep up with this rapid pace of growth, the skill of creativity is becoming one of the most important skills for our era. For example, during the global pandemic, I was thrown into home learning for 6 weeks. Although it arguably would be an unpleasant experience, I'm pretty sure for myself and everyone here, it has taught me that we must use creativity to overcome when we are faced with problems. I had to teach myself, for example, how to do work instead of going to class, such as like time organization and collaborating with different students. I remember using an online game board, for example, to share lesson information and to socialize and to collaborate on our work. Using that game, I now devised a solution for my school, which we now use in our class. That's one example of creativity at work, using ideas and to solve problems to make things better. So, who knows what the future might have in store for us? And any one of you might have a job that is inconceivable today, but tomorrow, not so much. As you can see, creativity is the foundation of our modern society. So you might ask, how can I be creative? How can I use this awesome biological blessing that has allowed us to change our world? First, we must understand how it works. Introducing the creative process. The creative process on the 4 stages of creativity follows. First is discovery. Second is design. Third is the development and implementation. And fourth is deployment and delivery. Take, for example, the wheel, a story of a revolutionary invention. Creative pun was definitely intended. The 4th century BC was when the first use of wheels were discovered, being used in cars to transport goods. When I was researching this, I thought an unnamed person going about their daily life had a streak of ingenuity that will soon roll out the foundation of transport and engineering we have today. I could imagine that one day on Lower Mesopotamia, on the torrid sands of what is now modern-day Iraq, a man, woman, or child walked on the sands and kicked around its stone, and it kept rolling and rolling and rolling. And they thought, what if I could roll loads, heavy loads, instead of carrying them? And thus, the idea of the wheel was born. The wheel is one of many foundational inventions that has laid the foundation of our modern world and our world we know today. From the concept of from the wheel and its early development, we can observe the use of the creative process. So if you think about all the developments of that, a man kicking a rock, the rock rolling, and that man wondering what he could use this for, that possibly led to many infinite possibilities, as we can see now with the invention of the wheel. So this is a good example of the creative process giving birth to small, seemingly mundane ideas that has changed the world. However, there is a caveat to too much creativity. Some people are much more creative than others. That's something I can attest to. I can tell you many cases where I find myself drawing or reading books the night before my exam. Like when I was reading about the use of green roofs in cities the night before my maths exam one day and forgot what y equals mx plus c meant on the subsequent exam. So audience, show of hands, who had something like this happen to them? You thought something was more interesting than your exam. Yes, I understand. For that exam, I got a less than ideal grade, let's just say. Instead, however, I usually hear an overused statement that makes me cringe whenever I hear it. People say, I am not creative. I say, do not tell yourself you are not creative. I believe there is no such thing. Instead, you might just well be looking in the wrong places for your creativity. So another show of hands, please. Who here writes a journal entry? Okay. So who here likes drawing or sketching or doodling during a boring lesson in your notebook? I see that's a lot. So, from all your hands, we can now see that you have all been creative. So, small things, small ideas, like the wheel, can compound into many great things. That is the power of creativity. So if you think about it, and put your hand to a simple diary entry or sketch tonight, you might very well be on your way to creative mastery. So if you think it is that simple, I'd say it is very simple. It is as simple as routine parts of our daily lives like eating and socializing. Creativity is something that gives us infinite possibilities. So remember the creative process. Once you go home today, try drawing the first thing that comes to your mind. That sketch might very well be the next $1 million art piece. Or you could try writing a diary entry, maybe about what you learned at this event, and see what words you're using. That diary entry might as well become the next best-selling book. The sketch you might do now might be the inspiration of a new world-changing invention. Or maybe listen to the news, find a problem that you hear, and try to think of a creative way of solving that. That might just be the start of your new business. Creativity is the force that has led us to where we are today, the 21st century. Creativity is becoming an essential skill in the workplace to be innovative and competitive in the fourth industrial revolution, allowing us jobs inconceivable today, but may allow us to stand on the bleeding edge tomorrow. Our problems are not becoming simpler, instead they are becoming harder. The pandemic and new technology further stresses that we must develop new ideas and devise solutions to more complex problems and be more adaptable to the challenges we face in our lives. Take the pandemic, for example. One of many creative solutions came from this unfortunate event. So, for example, the development of telecommunicating was accelerated during lockdown. Science combined with creativity helped develop the vaccine, one of countless examples of creative innovation to devise solutions during our hard times. From where humanity started small, first using agriculture to suit our needs, each new step seemed bigger and more ambitious. Throughout history, we see countless examples of creativity being used to innovate and improve our lives to where we are living in now. Countless revolutionizing scientific theories have been brought upon by creativity, as well as giving us to understand the know-how of the universe and enhanced our lives enormously. Every building, city, road you ever went to and ever been on was built on creativity. Every device that has existed and will ever exist has been built on creative innovation. Every book, play, movie, song you ever heard and will ever hear is made on creativity. Creativity has made us the masters of our world, enhanced our lives like no other, and gave us meaning beyond being a pile of water and molecules that miraculously became self-aware. It is the biological blessing which has allowed us to continue the endless march of progress as a gateway to a better, brighter tomorrow. So I must end here to tell you to use creativity to stand on the shoulders of giants, to build a brave new world, or worlds that never were. Thank you.